Yeah, Danny talks. Yeah. Yeah, never been easy to do this. Been couple years tukisaka easy tukis. Whether the storm alafu focus on the finish. Na mafala wanashindwa ati mbona sishtuki. Funny niko jiji but the farm never sees me. Baraka vile nimepata brothers kwa mziki. Nothing in this life can compare to the music. Mradi ile kufanya vitu futuristic. Niaje nyi mnashindwa niko wera bila reason. Nyi mnadhani mimi naroga ndio nipate recognition. Wakinisaka niko wera incognito. Chini rada sipatikani Snapchat ama TikTok. Busy training kubwa mafutani shinda Bitco. Squeezy hadi feature na lipisha bei ya crypto. Uwasibongi kama converse yo beneficial. Heri ni nyamaze design ya Jose Mourinho. Miezi kama sita wanashindwa niko wapi. Wananitegea Insta nikule wanjabi. Dripu wanga safi hadi si hadi marashi. Still na maintain social distance na warazi. Wasoro wako busy analyzing. Wanashindwa mimi nataka sifa ama kanji. Isipojipa leo tunajaribu siku next. Na kasi important is called to my chest.
Tanya wanipate mimi na chaka mkia michongo. Kitu changu siache kufurahi. Ona sasa God ananifungulia milango.
Ona sasa God ananifungulia milango. That is Danny Talks Intronics featuring Hassano on their new jam. Inaitwa Tukis.
Lazima nice nikifikia self discipline nazijipusha never giving in. Season ya upishi kama liha abi season in. Napambana daily reason being. Staki waje wanicheke koza mona mission G na tia fata kabla tuoke mtaa. Wangani wengi mola niepushe na mabalaa. Wanasugwa benchi na kinukisha kila mtaa. Na wanga seva flani tamu wezi kukinai.
As I get things ready for the show, today we're going to be talking about black inventors and black inventions that you probably never heard of because of the reasons we're going to be talking about. So welcome to the show. Just finishing up on the setup as I let you enjoy some Danny Talks Intronics featuring Hassano with Tukis. Man, you should check out this video. It's so dope. Really, really amazing video. It's on Danny Talks Intronics YouTube channel.
Ona sasa God ananifungulia milango. Na finata kwa pambane kishujaa. Wale hata players ninafuatilia mipango. Cause I got my eyes on the prize. Na lazima nice nikifikia malengo.
And of course our daily anthem Sauti Sol featuring Nyashinsky with Tujiangalie. It's a daily reminder for African people. Tujiangalie translates to let us evaluate ourselves. Because if we don't, if nothing changes, then nothing is gonna change. That is literally what Sauti Sol and Nyashinsky say on this jam. It's a pretty cold morning in Nairobi, afternoon. It's 12:40 p.m. East African time, EAT, on the 4th of May 2024. I hope you having yourself an amazing day. I hope you had an amazing week, and I hope you're staying safe. And of course, if you're watching or listening from Kenya, I hope you're staying safe from the rains.
Wanauliza kama Kenya kuko sawa, nikawajibu Kenya tuko na disaster. Watoto wetu wanazidi kuzikana, na Tomboya ameshika tama, alituacha kama angali kijana. Je, angekuwa mambo yangekuwa sawa? Ndivyo walivyopanga Maulana. Deni mulizoacha bado tunalipa, na tumekopa zingine China, tukajenga reli pia barabara. Zilizobaki watu wakasanya. So tujiangalie.
Tujiangalie as Spikes might tell you in his Swahili class means let us evaluate ourselves. So this song talks about evaluating ourselves as African people.
Tuko pabaya leo kuliko jana.
And there's a part that he says tusipoziba ufa tutajenga ukuta. That means if we don't fix the crack, then we're gonna have to rebuild the whole wall.
Tujiangalie, tuko pabaya leo kuliko jana, tusipoziba ufa tutajenga kuta, tusake zetu tungali vijana. Waumini kwa makina, pasi kwa bima, kushoto fungu la 10, sadaka kulia. Ndio maana mbele ya kanisa mheshimiwa anakula sakramenti kabla ya raia. Siku za mwisho zimeshawadia.
So I think we are now ready to start our show. We're going to be talking about black inventors and inventions, inventors, black scientists that you have never heard about, that you'll never hear about. You know, when you talk about inventions, when you talk about science, of course, the names that are going to come in will be the likes of Einstein. You're going to see the likes of Graham Bell. You're going to see the likes of Tesla, but you're never going to hear the real black names that really played a pivotal role in some of the most outstanding innovations that we have had in terms of science. I'm talking the likes of, there are actually so many black inventors that invented so many amazing things, but that you are never about, that you've never probably heard about, because I was actually having a conversation with somebody telling them about how superior of a race we are and how he should be proud of being black. And the first question they asked me was to name one black invention. That just highlighted the ignorance that we have as African people, to a point that it's not just ignorance, but also the brainwashing that has taken place, to a point that we believe when we talk about scientists, when we talk about inventions, people are just going to think about the likes of Edison, people are going to think about the likes of Graham Bell, people are going to think about the likes of Isaac Newton, but nobody thinks about the likes of Mark Dean, nobody thinks about the likes of Marianne Kroc, who, by the way, invented the technology that allows me to speak to you right now. Were it not for him, I would not be speaking to you right now, because this woman invented what is called the voice over internet protocol. It's called the VoIP, the voice over internet protocol, where it allows voice communication over the internet, but you're never gonna hear about her. When you talk about the likes of Dr. Charles Drew, who invented the blood bank, were it not for this gentleman, then would not be able to, blood donations would not be possible, because blood is very delicate, intricate. It contains a lot of things in it. It contains the white blood cells, contains the red blood cells, contains the hemoglobin, it contains the DNA, so it needs to be delicately preserved. And were it not for Dr. Charles Drew, then nobody would be able to have blood transfusion. So I'm just mentioning but a few, but we are going to be looking at them in depthly. And you can tell me about that one notable black invention that you know, because there are so many black inventors that you are never ever gonna hear about. When you talk about the likes of Phil Brooks is the one who invented and patented a disposable needle syringe. You will not be able to get an injection in the hospital were it not for this gentleman right there, Phil Brooks, a black inventor who eliminated the need to sterilize needles between uses. So he invented the disposable syringe. When you talk about the likes of Jamie Sminoff, who invented the home security system, when you talk about people like Thomas J. Martin, who invented the fire extinguisher, these are people you're never going to hear about. Notable black inventors who made notable inventions that changed. Imagine a world without fire extinguishers. That would be how the world would be. Were it not for Thomas J. Martin, would still be using cups to pour water on fires. I'm talking about 1872. That was when these inventions was made. So there are a lot of notable. We're going to be looking at them in depthly. I'm just mentioning them for a bit. The likes of Richard Spikes. Were it not for Richard Spikes, you'd not be able to drive your automatic car. Derek asked you, I know you drive an automatic. You'd not be able to drive an automatic were it not for Richard Spikes. He's the one who patented an automatic gear shift mechanism in 1932. Thanks to him, we now have automatic transmission cars that do not need you to manually change the gears. So you can tell this was very, very convenient for, especially for people with physical disabilities, because you do not need to struggle with the gear stick all the time. But I'm sure you've never heard of Richard Spikes because he's black. When we talk about people like John Standard invented the refrigerator, by the way. Why not for him would not be having a refrigerator that you're using right now? That was in 1891. The one who invented, improved, and patented the refrigerator design as it is in 1891, including improving it and adding a cooling unit which could be recharged with ice, which made refrigerators more accessible and affordable for households. So when you talk about people like Mary Van Britten, let me tell you about Mary Van Britten Brown and Albert Brown. These two black people right there invented the closed circuit television. The closed circuit television is the CCTV that you see everywhere. Were it not for Albert Brown and Mary Van Britten Brown, would never have CCTVs, closed circuit televisions. And that was in 1969. They even went ahead and improved their system. Sorry for that. Improved their systems to a system that could be moved remotely to monitor different areas of the home. That is why you can be able to even monitor your home when your house in the US, when you are in Uganda, you can, through the internet, you can even shift the position of the camera. That was courtesy of Albert Brown. When you talk about people like Madam C.J. Walker, who invented the machine women use to blow dry their hairs. When you talk about Frederick McKinley, who invented refrigerated trucks, that is why it is possible to carry perishable things on the truck. You can carry milk on the trucks, you can carry flowers in the truck, you can carry perishable things in trucks. That was thanks to Frederick McKinley. When you talk about people like Lewis Latimer, you would not be seeing me right now. You're seeing me because there's a lot of lighting in the studio that is focused on me. So when we talk about Thomas Edison and his invention of, then you have to mention Lewis Latimer, because bulbs as they were did not work. They were not reliable, they were not durable, and they were not long lasting as they had been invented first by Edison. They would light, but they were not durable, they were not long lasting, and they were not affordable bulbs as they had been invented by Thomas Edison. But this gentleman right here, Lewis Latimer, is the one responsible for the carbon filament for the light bulb. The carbon filament is the one inside the light bulb that contain the neon gases that do not burn, so it makes the bulb last for longer. It's the bulb can burn and not burn, if you get what I'm saying, because there is neon gases that do not allow combustion, that do not allow the bulb to burn. So were it not for Lewis Latimer, you would not be having a bulb in your house. He's the one who improved the method of manufacturing carbon filaments for bulbs, light bulbs, in 1881. Through him, light bulbs were made more durable and long lasting. When you talk about people like Garrett Morgan, who invented the gas mask, the one that you are putting on, in 2020 during COVID, and the one that neurosurgeons that people put on. We cannot really ignore the importance of masks, gas masks. They help, for example, when you're working in a condition that has toxic gases. So why not for Garrett Morgan, who invented the early version of the gas mask? Anything else that you see is just but an advancement of what Garrett Morgan invented in 1914. So his original design was meant to protect firefighters and others from inhaling toxic fumes and inhaling smoke. brilliant black minds that you are never gonna hear about. The same Garrett Morgan, by the way, also invented the three light traffic signal that you see that black people always get arrested over. The three light traffic signal that is used all over the world. It might look simple, it might look very, very simple, it might look like a simplistic idea, but imagine driving without the three light traffic signal. Imagine depending on on traffic marshals because there is no traffic signal. The three light traffic signal, that was also an invention by Garrett Morgan, another black brilliant mind. We talk about people like Elijah McCoy, who revolutionized the train transmission systems. So what he did is invented a device that automatically added oil in the moving parts of steam engines and other machineries, which increased efficiency and reduced the need for manual lubrication. This include in your vehicle, the part that automatically in steam engines and other machineries, the part that automatically lubricates the systems in train. That was an invention of Elijah McCoy. So imagine machinery, steam engines, and the world as it is without that, without Elijah McCoy's invention. So there are a lot of inventions that have come as a result of brilliant black minds. So when you talk about science, when you talk about revolutionizing the world through science, it's not always about the likes of Thomas Edison. It's not always about the Isaac Newtons. It's not always about, I don't know, the Stephen Hawkings and the Epstein lists. It's not always about there's so many brilliant black minds, even in the recent times. For example, we had that gentleman in the black engineer, his name was Moses West, who made a machine that turned air into water. He's a veteran, by the way, a black veteran who made a machine that could stop world hunger for good. With his machine. We're going to be looking at him. But first, why don't we start by looking at Lewis Howard, one of the inventors that we've been talking about and what he invented. And a big shout out to Jiba Jaba, who's with me. Let us start by looking at Lewis Howard. And by the way, I've not told you about Joseph Jackson. I almost forgot. If you're watching me on TV and you switched on your TV using a remote control and use a remote control to search for the Black Hot Fire Network, then you have to give thanks to Joseph Jackson. He's the one who patented, invented, and improved the first remote control for television in 1961. Why not for Joseph Jackson? You'd still need to wake up, go to your TV set in order to control it in any way. So I cannot even exhaust the number of black inventors who have made notable inventions that have changed the way we operate, that have made life easier for all of us, that have changed the way we look at things. And Jiba Jaba is telling me about how Edison stole from inventors. Coming back to that, let us first look at Lewis Howard Latimer and what he invented this.
However, there is one man who connects these figures together. Someone who worked with them on some of the most famous inventions, and in some cases improved on their advancements. But sadly, he's not a household name. Meet Lewis Howard Latimer, the man who played an important role in Edison and Bell's historic work, and whose inventions have impacted...
That was the one that I was telling you when, I don't know whether Jiba Jaba is already telling me Edison did not invent nothing. So apparently, if you read books, they're going to tell you Edison invented the light bulb. But Jiba Jaba is not buying that. So the original light bulb was not, as I said, it was not reliable, it was not cheap, it was not long lasting because the filament in it used to burn so easily over time because it's burning. It has to burn. When I say burn, I mean a bulb has to burn for it to produce light. That is how it works. So as they were just, it would light, but it would not last for anything. So this gentleman right here, Lewis Howard Latimer, is the one who made the first carbon filament. And the carbon filament meant that the bulbs were now more affordable. The bulbs were now the light bulb, and this was in 1818s still. That meant now the bulbs were more affordable. That means they were more long lasting, and it means that if it were not for him, whatever had been invented at earlier stages of the light bulb would not have worked. We would still be in darkness.
Our life.
And by the way, his invention does not just cut around light bulbs, because if you look at everything, including the phone that you're using, including the laptop that I'm using, including your TV, it uses what is called the LED technology. But the really modern one do not use the LED anymore. LED means light emitting diode. So the LED technology also incorporates Lewis Howard Latimer's invention. Why not for Lewis Latimer? Then we'll still not have LEDs, which are used in almost all electronic devices. But the modern ones are not incorporating the LED. But we've used the LED technology for quite even in headlights, car headlights, most vehicle headlights are nowadays LEDs. So when I talk about him inventing the carbon filament, I'm not just talking about the bulbs you use in your home. I'm talking about anything light emitting. Anything light emitting has to have the carbon filament in it, the neon filament in it, for it not to burn out. So why not for this gentleman? You'd probably not be watching this stream right now. You'd not have, so these are some of the inventors and innovators who changed the world, and most of them are black, by the way. So this is just one of them. So let us watch his story.
Lewis Howard Latimer was born on the 4th of September 1848 in Chelsea, Massachusetts, and was the youngest of 4 children born to George and Rebecca Latimer. 6 years prior to Lewis's parents had been slaves in Virginia. They managed to escape and sought freedom in neighbouring Boston, but shortly after arriving, George was recognised as a fugitive and jailed. The arrest was protested vigorously by the community. There was a trial, and the attempts to recapture George and return him to Virginia caused considerable agitation in Boston. When the trial judge ruled that Latimer still belonged to his Virginia owner, an African-American minister paid $400 for his release. Although George was now a free man, he was still extremely poor, working as a barber, paper hanger, and in other odd jobs to support his wife, 3 sons, and their daughter. With this very humble background, Lewis Latimer's family could only afford a few years of grammar school for him and his siblings. He still developed a keen interest in the arts, but especially in drawing, a skill that would benefit him hugely throughout his life. By the time of his adolescence, the Civil War had engulfed America, and in 1864, at the age of 16, Lewis enlisted in the Union Navy. At the close of the war, Lewis was honorably discharged and secured employment as an office boy with the patent law firm Crosby & Gould. Keen to advance himself and utilizing his interest in drawing by closely observing draftsmen at work and reading books on the subject, Latimer taught himself mechanical drawing. His perseverance and passion paid off, and Lewis eventually managed to become chief draftsman at the firm during his 11 years. In these years, Lewis met and married Mary Wilson, whom he would also go on to father 2 daughters with. Post-Civil War America, a huge increase in inventions. Patents were being secured by thousands as industry and industrialization was booming. Lewis secured his first patent in 1874 for the water closet, an improved toilet system for railroad cars, and in 1876, Lewis was hired by Alexander Graham Bell. Bell was working on his telephone invention and was in a race to get a patented design before anyone else registered a similar device. Latimer's expertise in draftsmanship meant that on the 14th of February...
I guess that is what Jibba Jabba was talking about. He was the perfect, brilliant patent illustrator. He was the go-to man when you needed those drawings. I now see what you meant, Jiba Jaba, when you say that this gentleman right there, Lewis Latimer, was the go-to man when you needed anything patented, when you needed those drawings. That is why they're claiming even Graham Bell with his phone had to go to him for assistance.
February 1876, Bell's telephone patent was filed just a few hours earlier than Bell's rival inventor, Elisha Gray. If it had not been for Latimer's expertise and knowledge, Bell may not have had the fame that he still holds in the world to this day. Alexander Graham Bell was not to be the only famous inventor Latimer would work closely with in his career. In 1880, Latimer began to work as a mechanical draftsman for Hiram Maxim, founder of the US Electric Lighting Company and fierce competitor to Thomas Edison. Here, Latimer learnt so much about light bulbs that by 1881, along with Joseph Nichols, he registered a patent for a light bulb with a carbon filament. This was a major improvement on Edison's original paper filament, which would burn out very quickly. Shortly afterwards, he received another patent for the process of manufacturing carbons, which was an improvement on the method for the production of the carbon filaments in light bulbs. With his knowledge and expertise in this field, he was eventually hired by the Edison Electric Light Company in 1884. Here, he worked closely with Edison and became his patent investigator and expert witness, protecting Edison's patents and inventions against imitators. Impressed with Latimer's technical knowledge, Edison encouraged Latimer to write his first book, Incandescent Electric Lighting, a practical description of the Edison system. Latimer would also go on to become one of the charter members of the Edison Pioneers.
I also get what Jiba Jaba was talking about. Edison was just but a thief of inventions, because even had in that place that it had to take Lewis Latimer to write a book explaining why does it take Lewis Latimer to write a book explaining Edison if he's the one who invented this? Isn't he the one who is in a better position to explain his invention in a book? So this part right here is suspicious and makes me believe Jiba Jaba when he says Thomas Edison was just but an invention copywriter, thief. Because why did he need Latimer to write a book explaining his invention, the Edison system, because it's called the Edison system? So why do you need Latimer to write a book for you explaining the practical description of the Edison system? If you are indeed the brains behind the Edison system, you would be in a better position.
Incandescent Electric Lighting, a practical description of the Edison system. Latimer would also go on to become one of the charter members of the Edison Pioneers, where he was the only African-American member of this highly prestigious group. Latimer's inventing talents weren't limited to light bulbs. In January 1886, he registered a patent for an early air conditioning unit apparatus for cooling and disinfecting. In many ways, this invention can be seen as the grandfather of the modern air conditioning unit. He also obtained a patent for locking racks for hats, coats, and umbrellas. Although this invention is now fairly obsolete with our modern fashion, in Latimer's days, this invention did see lots of use in restaurants, theatres, and office buildings. Latimer remained with Edison's company throughout the years as it merged with other companies to form General Electric, the same company that's still active today. He continued his work in the legal department until 1911, where he spent the rest of his career as a patent consultant to law firms. As a true Renaissance man, Latimer managed to pursue his love of the arts alongside his scientific career. He was a keen poet, playwright, painter, and lute. He was also very active in the Unitarian Church and taught mechanical engineering and English to new immigrants coming into America. Lewis Latimer came from so little during a time in history where he was a second-class citizen, and it was through his hard work and determination that he managed to rise up and make important advancements in many technologies that are still in use today. Although not as much of a household name as his contemporaries or colleagues, he truly deserves a place alongside them.
He doesn't deserve a place alongside them. He deserves a place above them, because he literally showed them the way, for lack of a better word. And Jibaja was talking about fiber optics, and that reminded me of fiber optics. Fiber optics was also discovered, invented by an black African man, a Ghanaian to be specific. His name was Dr. Thomas Mensah, and he died about a month ago. He died probably a month ago. So Thomas Mensah, the Ghanaian inventor, is the man responsible for fiber optic. I don't even have to explain how fiber optic technology revolutionized communication, especially communication that deals with the internet as it is right now. I don't even have to explain that. I know you know the importance of fiber optics and how it contributed to the fiber optic cable technology, which of course, you know, it enabled faster data transmission. That is why it is even possible for me to broadcast from Nairobi at 13:08 p.m. at 13:08 hours, and Jiba Jaba can hear me from many kilometers away instantly. That is because the Wi-Fi that I'm using is a fiber optic enabled Wi-Fi. It is a it uses fiber. It's a fiber. It has fiber optic connections. So were it not for Dr. Thomas Mensah, then I probably would not be having this, you would not be getting this show as clearly as you're getting it. And this was a Ghanaian inventor. As I said, if I'm not wrong, Thomas Mensah died a month ago or something. I remember his burial in Ghana. So let us look at him.
We see people
Jiba Jaba mentioned about the fiber optic cable, and when you talk about the fiber optic cable, doesn't matter whether you're using the Elon Musk's new what is this new Wi-Fi called? He has a new Wi-Fi that he brought to Kenya. He has a new neuro something Wi-Fi that is costing about $400 to install in Kenya, and so many Kenyans are installing it. If you look at any data communication as it is right now, if you look at data transmission in this century, then it would not be possible were it not for this man right here, Dr. Thomas Mensah. And in this speech, he talks about how people think everything was invented by the white man. He talks about how black inventors have been alienated to a point that if I mention somebody like Lewis Latimer, then trust me, not many people will know him. You know, if I was to stand in the streets of Kampala and ask anybody, do you know Lewis Latimer? They don't know Lewis Latimer. But everybody knows Thomas Edison. Everybody knows Graham Bell. Everybody knows Isaac Newton. Everybody knows Pythagoras, you know. But nobody knows our real heroes who made life even more easier, who were responsible for some of these great inventions, an example being Latimer. So I'm sure not even many people know about the story of Dr. Thomas Mensah outside Ghana. Not many people know that were it not for him, you'd not even be able to stream whatever you're streaming.
we see, people think only the white person did it. Everything we see an airplane, oh, the white person do it. See an MRI machine in the hospital, see a computer, they think it's only a white person can do it. But you are looking at a person who created a technology for you to send pictures.
Jabba sending throwing jabs at our Kenyan internet. Yeah, we are failing Dr. Thomas Mensah terribly. He did not invent this internet. He invented better internet. But I'm sure we'll get there. So I've repeated Thomas Mensah's speech deliberately because it is such a powerful speech. I remember the first time I saw this video, and you know, it's such a powerful video. That is why I've repeated it once again. I want you to listen to it and listen to the powerful message this Ghanaian gentleman had.
We see, people think only the white person did it. Everything we see an airplane, oh, the white person do it. See an MRI machine in the hospital, see a computer, they think it's only a white person can do it. But you are looking at a person who created a technology for you to send pictures on your cell phone worldwide. You are looking at him.
It's no longer news that the optic fiber that enables us to swiftly transfer data between mediums was engineered by a black man from the Gold Coast. Meet Dr. Thomas Mensah. Dr. Thomas Owusu Mensah, current president and CEO of Georgia Aerospace Systems and world-renowned pioneer in fiber optic technology.
And he's not white. He's black just like you. He happens to be from Ghana. But I'm not limited by what I've been told in my schools growing up and all that. I'm limited by what I think I can do. So I want you all to think yourself that you can do anything that any person, whether Chinese, Indian, white, whatever they've done, you can do it.
Born in the heart of Kumasi, Ghana, attended Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Aside being the pioneer of fiber optic manufacturing, he also contributed hugely to the manufacturing of nanotechnology. Thomas Mensah has got over 14 technological patents in his name and has officially inducted into the U.S. National Academy of Inventors in 2015.
Where would we be without our smartphones? Some might be happier, but most of us probably couldn't even count how many times we use them to send pictures and video. As we celebrate Black History Month, Don Baker joins us with a one-on-one interview with one of the engineers who's responsible for revolutionizing the internet.
Well, Dr. Thomas Mensah worked along with three other men, names you should know: Bob Moore, Don Keck, and Peter Schultz, to invent a laser fiber optic system back in the 1980s. They had no idea how it would change our way of life.
Without these four guys, the internet won't work because we invented a laser-based fiber optic system that allows anybody to send a picture to somebody else's cell phone. Without that invention, you cannot send a tweet, you cannot send an Instagram pictures, no Facebook. So we let Facebook, Google, and all those things happen. Because before we did it, everything was using copper.
And he's not even lying when he says the internet would not exist as it is, were it not for him. He's not even capping this gentleman right here, Dr. Thomas Mensah. The internet as it is would not exist because the internet as it is right now uses fiber optic cable technology majorly, especially for transmission, for you to send an image and for you to receive it, for you to be able to access the internet in the first place. You need fiber optics. So what he says, he's the one that, were it not for him, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the Twitters would not exist. He's not even lying.
You would stand in front of an ATM machine for about 8 hours. But now you go in and get things quickly because of the invention of fiber optics.
During that time, how did you even think of this?
Well, I had come out of MIT as a chemical engineer, and I was hired to solve a problem because they couldn't take the invention out of the laboratory. And within 6 months, I've solved the problem and made it feasible so that fiber optics could be cheap and it could replace copper wires throughout America. Yeah.
Did you ever think we would live in a society now where we would all be walking around with computers and sharing this information?
No, it never dawned upon us. Because right now, in your pocket, you have a computer that is more powerful than the computer that designed the Apollo rocket. Because you can get all the information in the world, but the only way you can send anything, send a cell phone to somebody else's cell phone, is through the fiber optic system we created. Very important. And I want you all to repeat after me. The right stuff, the right stuff, the right
stuff comes in black too. That is Dr. Thomas Mensah, who died about a month ago. He was buried in Ghana. He was Ghanaian, one of the greatest, brightest African minds you can think of. He invented fiber optic technology, which if not for the fiber optic technology, Keith would not be able to join me like he's joining me right now. So you have to thank Dr. Thomas Mensa for being able to join me, Keith.
Okay.
You have to give him his flowers. So the other person that I want us to look at, and Jiba Java is telling me about how he asked Karen if her phone was a smartphone. She said she doesn't know. They just know it has Snapchat. You are asking, you're asking her too many questions. The other person is Richard Spikes. Richard Spikes is the inventor who was responsible for automatic gear transmission, automatic gear shift. That was in 1932.
Well,
If you're driving an automatic,
the individual, is a black person that created the cell phone too. Black people created the cell phone. Yeah, black people created the cell phone. We also created the first car. It's called created by the Patterson brothers. Car was invented by black people. Cell phone was created by black people. The phone was created by black people. The same guy you said that was part of Thomas Edison, he created the phone too. So he created the light bulb and the phone. Wasn't Thomas Edison creating no light bulb? What was his name? Louis Lattimore? I think his name is Louis Lattimore, if I remember. He created the light bulb and the phone.
Yeah, we've just looked at Lewis Latimer and his invention of carbon filament.
He also created the regular phone that we don't use no more. So you can look up Louis Latimer and see was he responsible for the phone too. Not just the light bulb, the phone too. Before he worked with Thomas Edison, he worked with
in the video that we saw, Jiba Jaba had already mentioned that.
Okay.
And as we were looking at it, we saw that Graham Bell took the patent to Latimer, and Latimer is the one who drew the patent diagram.
Of course, because he's black, and so that's how most inventions on the planet were created by black people, especially almost black Americans, because the slaves, you got all that. And all that DNA from all the slaves that came over here, we mingled with everybody. So all these inventions you never got credit for because we were black. And this whole thing about the white man's got to have credit. He's got to make the money from it. We weren't allowed to have the businesses or the credit. So like I said, even the internet, he's about not just the fiber optic that this guy did, the internet itself, the coding wasn't, I think it was a Nigerian American who created the coding of the internet to make it able for you to make the code for the internet to even work. That's a Nigerian individual. But I know the cell phone itself was created by an African American. So I mean, the first cell phone, when before it became a smartphone, the original one, the first how they work. But anyway, but go ahead.
So Thomas Mensa is the one responsible for the fiber optic technology. Let us now look at Spikes. I was talking about Richard Spikes.
Yeah, he's a Nigerian. Yeah. I thought it was a Nigerian Jibba. Yeah, who without him the internet wouldn't even, he created the code for the internet itself. Without him, it wouldn't even you wouldn't have internet. He's more important than even the fiber optics. Without him, the internet wouldn't even work at all. The Nigerian brother who created the whole coding of the internet.
So Richard Spikes was responsible for the automatic gear transmission. That is, if you're using an automatic car like the one Keith drives, then that is because of Richard Spikes. Is the one that came up with that technology in 1932. Let us look at him.
You didn't get
Richard Spikes, inventor and innovator. Richard Bowie Spikes was an African-American inventor born on October 2nd, 1878 in Dallas, Texas. He had a as an inventor with 8 patents awarded between 1907 and 1946. 1. Spikes was primarily interested in automobile mechanics, but also sought to improve the operation of various items such as barber chairs and trolley cars. Throughout his life, he worked in occupations such as mechanic, saloon keeper, and barber, which likely influenced his many inventions. Notable inventions. Richard Spikes made significant contributions to various fields through his inventions and innovations. Some of his notable inventions include beer tap. In 1907, while living in Bisbee, Arizona, Spikes patented a beer tap, U.S. patent number 850,070. The tap used tubing to ease the release of beer from the barrel, while also improving freshness over time. Automatic gear shift. Spikes developed an automatic gear shift device based on automatic transmission for automobiles.
I mean, imagine how much this invention of the automatic gear transmission changed the motor industry, and Richard Spikes is not given his flowers. Nobody acknowledges him for anything. Nobody,
Of course,
nobody talks about him, and this guy literally changed the motor industry as it is.
Anyone, they talk about him when they stole the invention and made billions of dollars out of it, and probably left them all fucked up and broke, penniless and no name. Nobody knows that. That's how Africans were treated. Then you got the white man running around. We invented everything. He didn't invent shit. He invented the patent office that allowed you to steal everything. That's why the patent office exists, so they get to steal people's inventions. And you got to file for
other motor vehicles. Automobile directional signals. He also improved automobile directional signals, which are turn signals used for indicating the intended direction of a vehicle. Safety braking system. Spikes invented a safety braking system for trucks and buses. Other inventions. Spikes also invented an automatic car washer, a self-locking rack for billiard cues, a continuous contact trolley pole, and a railroad semaphore, among other creations. Personal life. Richard Spikes was born to Monroe and Medora Spikes and came from a large family of at least 6 siblings. In 1900, he married Lula B. Charlton, and they had 1 son. The family moved frequently during the early 1900s, living in Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona before settling in California. Legacy. Richard Spikes' inventions and innovations had a significant impact on society, particularly in the transportation industry. His automatic gear shift, safety braking system, and other inventions transformed the way vehicles operate. Despite his contributions, Spikes' life and work are not widely known.
Of course not. I didn't even know about this guy. This is somebody I didn't know about.
Recognition for his inventions came slowly.
If you did not know about Spikes, then nobody knew about Richard Spikes. Then
I didn't know nothing about him. I know that the guy that created the refrigerated system that allows people now to transport food all over the planet through trucks is another black man. Created that refrigerator called Igloo.
We're gonna be looking at him in a bit.
Okay.
He is another black man. His name was John Standard.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch. I know a bunch of like it's supposed to everything that black people deal with today. Black people invented, never got no credit for, because you got to have the thing of white supremacy, and so the African mind got, the Chinese invented it, the white man. No, you're the smartest people on the planet. It's just you remain moronic by the school systems you're in, and then you have a lack of confidence in yourself anymore. Colonialism and slavery really destroyed you, but I don't know how the black American, the African, come out of slavery. He didn't feel that for some reason. He felt like, fuck that, we can do anything, and they started doing it. So we, the Africans on the continent, still dealing with the colonial mindset. Everybody's better than them and to worship everybody. You got to get out the worship of everybody for you to let your full potential come out. You're the smartest people on the planet, but you don't act like it. You're scared of everybody and worship everybody. You can't believe and develop anything, especially now when you're caught in, you're caught in religion and poverty. Jesus. Well, if you think about Jesus, you have to think about how do I create a solution for this problem? Because the mother of all invention is what? Necessity. What do I need? How to get this done? Thinking. So if you don't think, you're just caught in religion like Africans are, you're not going to invent anything. You're just caught in, I'm waiting on some cartoon character all the time. No. The mother of goddamn invention is necessity. And the African mind sits and thinks, it thinks of everything because you're given everything from the ether, from the universe. You download it. Go ahead, Demore.
So the other inventor that you're not going to look into so deeply is one that I know Jibba Jabba has a large appreciation for. His name was Joseph Smith. He invented the lawn sprinkler. He's the one who patented and invented the lawn sprinkler design in
Oh yeah,
1897.
the sprinkler design. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah, why you get
Yeah.
why you get to water your lawn.
Yep. And let us look at another black inventor. Let us look at we looked at quite a few. We mentioned quite a few before we get to talking about what they invented. Let us look at now a woman, a black woman. Her name is Mary Van Britten Brown. I don't know if you've heard of her.
Is she the
This
one?
is what she invented.
Let's see. Is she the one
This is
created
what
the damn?
yeah.
Let's see what she did. I'm trying to think. Is this the one that created the security system? Is that her?
She's the one that created the CCTV, the closed circuit
Yeah,
television.
yeah, security
For
system.
her would not have it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I got.
Television
Yeah,
as it is
I
right
thought
now.
that was her. Yeah.
Personal security risk of coming home alone after working odd hours of the day and night as a nurse. She created an early closed-circuit television system to be used for home monitoring. Truly a first of its kind, her security system and its patent is the forerunner of all advanced home security technology in use today, making it safe for all to protect their homes. Her original invention was comprised of peepholes, a motorized camera, monitors, a two-way microphone, and a remote control operated door. The final element was an alarm button that could be pressed to connect to the police immediately. Recipient of a National Scientist Committee Award, Marie Van Britten Brown, genius.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for.
No, we're not listening to you. So that was Mary Van Britten Brown, who invented closed circuit television. She did not just invent CCTV, she also made it, advanced it so much that she advanced it to a point that you could control your closed circuit television, your CCTV from far away from home, not just see what was happening, not just monitor, but control. You could turn your CCTV camera to point at whichever direction you wanted. That was this amazing black woman. Her name was Mary Van Britten Brown. I don't know if you knew about her, but she's the one responsible for CCTV. Any CCTV you see is as a result of her.
Yeah, I know about her. Also, the reason why you got the modern heating system in the house was another black woman. I forgot her name. The reason why we got heating systems in America and really don't got them in Africa yet, which is crazy. She invented over like 100 years ago the heating systems that we have in our houses. I forgot her name. So she's the mother of why you got heat in your house. Reason why you got central heating, that you just turn on the button, heat your house. That was a black woman. That was like over 100 years ago. She invented that. So you got the real McCoy. I think McCoy invented with the traffic light and the what he invented, the traffic light, the gas mask.
Yeah,
and
the three traffic lights that we see. We are gonna be looking at him and imagine this woman right here, Mary Van Britten Brown, was a nurse.
Yeah.
As a nurse, she was able to invent something that requires electrical knowledge, deep knowledge in electrical engineering, because you have to be really brilliant for you to come up with a technology such as the closed circuit. You have to be brilliant.
You don't have to be brilliant, more. All African people.
You have to be brilliant, kid.
All African.
You have
people,
to be brilliant.
all African.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All African people are born brilliant, Demore. All you gotta do is just.
I think I should say you have to be African.
Well, all you gotta do is have time to sit and think, because all inventions come from the ether, come from your mind. All everything you see out here is first a thought, and Africans have forgotten how to think, how to sit down and imagine. Comes from the ether. Everything comes from the ether first to your mind, then you put into motion. And since black people are the most connected because we're melanated, we're the most connected to the ether, to God. So that's why we really are the most inventive people on the planet, because we have melanin, so we're connected. That's something we used to know. If like I said, if Africans learn themselves again, understand what ether is and how their mind works through melanin, they're connected straight to the spiritual. From the spiritual comes, everything comes from the spiritual first until it comes into this reality. So Africans are taught to sit and think, learn how to critically think. You would invent your way out of everything. Just like in Africa, if Africans were taught this, they would think their way out of all the poverty, everything. Inventions would come, boom, 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 boom. But they're taught not to question, taught to fear everything. You're taught not how to you're taught not how to think. So, and that becomes a problem because naturally, you know all this stuff by nature. It's in you by nature because of your melanin. Your melanin is a conductor of knowledge, of energy. So you take it from the spiritual and then you bring it into this plane of existence. That's how inventing works. It just comes from a thought first. So she didn't have to be brilliant in electronics first. She had to think of it and then go study a little bit about it. Then she can put together because that's our talents. Our talents is that we're God's people. We're the creator's people.
Like you said, necessity is the mother of invention. Like necessity is what made
necessity is the mother of invention. Right.
Let us look at another African black gentleman who was working in a different sector. He revolutionized the health sector, the medical sector. His name was Dr. Charles Drew. So this is what Dr. Charles Drew invented. Why not for him? I don't think medicine as it is. Not only did he invent the blood bank kit, he also invented X-ray machines.
Of course.
So here's the reason you can't go to a hospital.
Give us credit. Remember, it couldn't go in the hospitals because he's African. Couldn't go in the hospitals in America because he was an African. Get out of here, nigga. But I'm a doctor. Yeah, okay. So what?
So for those of you who may not know Dr. Charles Drew, he was a physician and a medical researcher, and he came about with one of the inventions was the blood bank. And the blood bank, as I said, blood is complex, really complex, because there's plasma in it, there's white blood cells in it, there's red blood cells in it. So preservation of blood is complex. He's the one who came up with the blood bank. So that is why to have things like blood transfusion in 2024, because Dr. Charles Drew came up with the blood bank. Apart from that, he came up with X-ray machines, the original X-ray machines and the portable X-ray machines. So because of him, it is perform X-ray imaging, not only in the medical field, but he also used in World War II, because they would use X-ray imaging in the field and on the battlefield. They would use it to apart from the medical personnel in World War II using it, they would use it to see images in World War II. So this is Dr. Charles Drew, and this is his story.
Was a pioneer in developing and perfecting blood banking in the United States. His work with plasma was really important in saving lives during World War II, and the plasma that we use today is not much different than what he developed. Charles Drew was an African-American physician who trained in surgery. He was at Howard University in Washington. He moved to Columbia University and what was then called Presbyterian Hospital and got involved with Dr. John.
Wait. I've never heard this part of the story, the part that Jiba Jaba is telling me that he died because the White Hospital would not admit him after a health crisis, and he needed a transfusion.
Yeah, they wouldn't
Wow.
They meant him because he's black, he's African. Get your nigga ass out of here. You don't know what you invented, Demore? You a nigga.
Wow. They wouldn't even have him blood transfusion on him using the bank that he invented himself.
No.
Wow.
Welcome to the world of white supremacy.
On blood preservation, the original types of transfusions were live transfusions. Sometimes the donor and the recipient were actually physically attached to each other.
Nah, this is a bit funny, the fact that they used to have transfusion like this, like live transfusion from one person to another. Wow.
Obviously, that's not very practical if you want to scale that up to give many transfusions to many patients. And so this issue of storing blood was very important. Dr. Drew's major contribution in that setting was to be able to collect and store and deliver plasma in a high quality way. Blood, as it circulates in the body, has two major parts, cells and fluid. The liquid portion, as it's circulating, is called plasma. It's 99% water. It contains proteins and sugars and lipids and coagulation factors. I'm sorry to say that most of the truly major advances in transfusion therapy are results of wars. When World War II started for outside the United States in 1939, there was a request from Britain to New York City, to the Red Cross here, of could we assist in providing plasma to Britain as they were being bombed by the Germans. The British noticed that a number of the units that we were sending them of plasma were cloudy, and it wasn't clear why. Charles Drew got involved, and he used his scientific method to evaluate the quality of the way the plasma was being collected and prepared, and added quality assurance methods. It was widely acknowledged that he was the leader in the world at that time for his work with plasma. The armed forces in the United States were completely segregated at that time. And originally, the decisions were made to collect plasma from blacks and whites and label them separately. And he spoke out against it as one of the reasons he left New York to go back to Howard and stopped participating with the Red Cross. After he left Columbia and Presbyterian Hospital, he focused the rest of his life on trying to improve the field of medicine for African American physicians. Unfortunately, he died young. He had vision, and he persevered, and he tried not to let obstacles stay in his way. To me, that's what makes him a hero.
That was Dr. Charles Drew, whose story had a sad ending at the end of it. I never knew about that last part that I've learned today about the fact that they let Mr. Drew die because he was black. They wouldn't even have blood transfusion on him, despite the fact that he's the one who invented the blood bank. And General Mosquito is not having it. He's saying blood transfusion should be as a last result, as some people's blood may be contaminated. So,
especially what we're dealing with now. You should check, especially what happened, with the 19. If you got, they only said, if you got the the VACs, you don't want that blood. And like also, you can't put every blood type with every blood type. The reason why you put the blood type of African people with everybody, because we're usually O, because we are what? The original blood type. We're O, original. So everybody can have African people's bloods because we are the original. Mm-hmm. About A, B. And I'm going to explain that. I ain't going to explain right here with the more. That goes deep into where these people come from. Okay? A, B negative, A, B positive, B, and all that other shit goes deep with the blood supply. I keep participating. I know. My kids told me to stop. I got to stop it. I started doing it, I never used it growing up. I didn't allow my kids to use it. I never said it. When the show got big years ago, when we got so big, and everybody would call in back in the day when you used it. Oh, I got to brother, but stop using that word. Stop. So I got engulfed in it. It's like I went backwards and said, hey man, don't use that word. Because that's everybody's vernacular. So everybody knows, they'll tell you, but they know I never used the N-word ever. Ooh, no, don't use it. Don't use that word. And so now it started becoming funny to me that it became sort of my, I'm not trying to defend myself and say I'm right, but I'm just telling you what happened. I never used the word. I wasn't allowed to use it in my household. Never allowed my children to use it. I never used it till I started the show. Start trying to make people stop. And you're right. And to this day, my children still get on me
So we have looked
about using it.
We've looked at several. General Mosquito is joining and he's saying he has missed the whole show. We've just looked at about 5 inventors so far. We've looked at quite a few. We've looked at Lewis Latimer, who's perhaps the most iconic of them. Light bulb. As I said, this is the reason you're watching me right now, because the device you're using probably 90% chance is an LED device. It uses LED technology, light emitting diodes. And for the LED technology to work, it needs Latimer's technology in it. That goes for the cell phone that you're using. That goes for the light bulbs that you're using. That goes for your vehicles, flashlights. That goes for everything that lights, literally, has to use Latimer's technology, Lewis Howard Latimer. So let us now look at another black inventor who came up with an amazing thing. So this is another woman, another black woman who, were it not for her, will not be able to have, you would not be hearing me right now in as much as the internet exists. She came up with what is called the Voice over Internet Protocol, the VoIP. So the Voice over Internet Protocol is the technology that allows voice communication over the internet. It is the technology that enables me to speak here and for you to hear me there, transmission of voice. So that was by a black woman. Her name was Marian Kroc. Let us look at her and her invention that, as you know, also was pivotal, especially in the internet era. Imagine the internet without voice transmission, without me being able to speak and you hearing me. So she's the one that came up with, as I said, voice over internet protocol. So let me share a video of her. And as I share that, there are so many other black inventors that we are not going to be looking at. If we started looking at all black inventors with their notable inventions, then we would not be able to, we would have to, the show would have to take like 5 hours. If we start looking at the likes of Mark Dean, who invented the portable fax machine. If we look at Frederick McKinley, who came up with the air conditioning, that is why in the heat waves you can't be able to cool yourself off. But let us look at Marian Kroc first.
In that my parents gave me so much freedom to explore. And my father was a person who always encouraged me to ask why. And growing up in Manhattan as well, it expanded my horizons. It made me I am is not the person that everyone else is. People have very different perspectives on things, and that the way that they see the world and their needs are very different. To this day, it influences me. In fact, it drove me or helped me decide that I did want to work for Bell Labs because I loved the diversity there. I really had to ask people what was going on at Bell Labs, and I learned that brilliant people doing remarkable innovations there, and so I was hooked. So voice over IP is simply running a voice communication, having a dialogue with a person over the internet. And most of the people in Bell Labs and AT&T at the time did not believe in VoIP. I remember one person who was at the executive level did believe in it. And he said, just keep going. Don't listen to them. Just keep going. Go as fast as you can. We did. Then the feeling just left and small, and I suddenly just grew by about 10 feet. And I realized that's where my power is. Like, my voice is a voice that will perhaps help to bring change to a company, as long as I'm doing it on behalf of the company and the business and our customers.
Marian was very determined and very focused on the initiatives that she wanted to work on. And you know, she was very bold. She did things that other people were afraid to do.
When I think of the contributions that I've made in terms of technology, I feel very humbled. I'm just very grateful that people have been able to use it and that it's helped humanity. People discover things. People are
This is how African people are. Kind of. I just hope it helps humanity.
Come again?
But no, white people take it, steal it, build billions of dollars, and then screw everybody else. Black people, I hope it helps humanity and bring love.
Yeah, but she did help humanity, because out of her invention, you can be able to talk to Africans.
Of course, but that ain't why, you know, and that's why they put us back on the plantation family. They get our genius now when they gave us integration. They get to steal their technology benefits them. Our inventions benefit them. Because right now she should be a multi-billionaire, but she's not. She just, oh, my invention, I hope it helps humanity. All my money went to Bell Labs and the white man and shit. Go ahead, Demore.
So that was Marianne Kroc. She is responsible for the invention of the voice over internet protocol. As I said, it is the technology that allows voice communication over the internet.
The whole thing of the internet, everything you name it, black people without African.
Yeah, that was what I wanted. That was actually what I wanted to say. What I've gathered from this show is that the internet is black. Everything in the internet was made, from the original programmers in Nigeria.
Don't know that anymore. Most Africans don't know what you said. This internet is so powerful and great. Yeah, you created it.
So from the original programmers in Nigeria to fiber optic technology from Ghana, and now with so basically now with Marianne Kroc with the voice over internet protocol. So that means if you take black off the internet, it crashes.
Now you integrate that now with the cell phone, and now you got the internet on the phone. So you integrate that with the creation of the cell phone, was created by an African as well. So you got the internet also on the cell phone. Not only did you create the original phone, the regular phone, the landline, these old phones like this. Hello, what you doing? Only got this thing plugged in. This thing so damn old. You got this thing plugged in. I haven't used this thing like in 15 years still. Hello, one of these old landline phones.
But now the irony, kid, is that even after most of these inventions being done, not only by black people, but some of them by in Africa, such as the fiber optic, I say it was by Dr. Thomas Mensah from Ghana. You told me the original coding was by a Nigerian.
Yeah.
It is how we cannot even access better internet as Africans, despite the fact that it came from Africa. The people of Ghana, live in Kenya, the people of Ghana, where Thomas Mensah comes from, who invented fiber optic, I'm sure they have very poor internet.
It sucks in Ghana, but because they had to come out, they had to leave Africa to do it because the corrupt leaders have not built infrastructure. You got how you gonna build anything? You got you're studying Jesus every damn day. That's part of your studies. You haven't built what they call research and development. Why did the research and development more in Africa? That's why. That's why the internet is poor, why the lights go off and all this other crazy stuff. And so, yeah, no one has put a research and development department in no African country. except for South Africa, maybe for white people. Other than that, I mean, a black African country, you don't have it. So you got people sitting around talking about Jesus all day. What Bible verses or Allah talk? What Quran verse is this? Oh, the Surah says that Muhammad went to the desert and was sucking dick or something. I don't know. How about you build some research and development? How about you do that? So you take the young mind, see what they're scared the more. You have young minds who are doing research and development. You can't keep them impoverished the more. They're not going to listen like their granddaddy, their mama just, oh, it's okay. So they're not going to say it's okay for stuff not to work the more. The African puppets don't want that. They don't want that. Why is the road flooded and don't work? Because when you start teach these young children research and development, it leads to revolution. Like, hey, I need things to work so I can actually invent stuff here. So we got to get stuff fixed. They don't want that. That's why you don't see it nowhere in any African country. Research and development should be in all schools in Africa, all of them. Throw out Bible and Quran talk, throw that shit out. Research and development is what we're going to do here. Okay? From time they get in school, 4 and 5 years old, I want all African kids under research and development. That's a must. That's the curriculum. That's a must. Not what chapter of the Bible did John go talk to Moses, where the hell, or what chapter did in the Quran did somebody talk to Muhammad and say, hey, Muhammad, it's hot as shit in this desert.
With that Bible knowledge, kid, you'd never have made it to university in Kenya. Your Bible knowledge is abysmal. And you have to pass CRE. CRE is Christian Religious Education. You have to pass that.
And that's in all African countries, family. You see how the mind control works? It's been 60 years since they got independence, and no one has thrown that shit out. No one's thrown it out.
Because you try that, they're gonna throw you out.
No one's thrown that shit out. No one said, hey, you think we might need research and development instead of this Bible shit? You think we might need that first? You know, so we can invent and develop our way out of this poverty we've been put in. You think we can do that first? You think that'd be a good idea? I think it would be. I don't blame me. I'm just crazy. I'm crazy like that. Yeah, exactly. See, you like what? Yeah, I learned that years. That's all throughout Africa to blow your mind. That shit. The more you say,
I'm shocked. Jiba Jabba does not know about CRE. So you either have to take CRE or IRE. IRE is Islamic Religious Education. CRE is Christian Religious Education. And you have to pass. It doesn't matter whether you want to be a doctor. It doesn't matter whether you want to be an engineer.
You got to get caught up in one of your colonized and fake religions in Africa. Can you imagine that? You got to be forced to. If people say, why is Africa so screwed up? Why won't develop? Because, moron, I'm forced to take my colonizer's religion as if it's real. What? That shit's supposed to be thrown out when you first got independence. See, if you want to study that at home, that's cool. You can do that. You study that shit in your house. Your religion belongs in your house with you and your kids. If you want them to worship Islam or Muhammad, that shit is at the house. You want them to worship Christianity, that shit is at the house. But school, we got to be based in facts. We got to do research and development. We got to do shit based in facts. What's real? If you want to have a belief system, that's no problem. We want you to have religious freedom. That's part of being a human being. You got the right to believe what you want to believe. But that shit's at home.
You talk like that, you're getting impeached the next day. What talk is that? You're talking, and it happened the other day.
Yes, right.
It happened the other day. It happened the other day that
that's right. It's nuts. I didn't know that until I got a little. I said, this is real. It is nuts. And on the rest of the world, it's illegal to do what Demore just said. Only in Africa, but it is legal. It is that's right. I said that's what I said. This is nuts. What? So that's why you got to say, well, why is the African so indoctrinated? That's why. It's part of the curriculum to keep them indoctrinated. They don't even do that shit in England, who brought them that shit, or Belgium, or France, who brought them these goofy shit, or and in Islamic countries. It is absolute nuts. And see, so that's why I was had to get Africans some slack, because you got, until you know these things, you don't know why their minds are so colonized. You didn't know. I'm like, when I said, what? This is illegal anywhere on the planet. It's illegal. And it's mandatory in Africa. You're like, God damn, this is crazy.
Listen. It doesn't matter whether you want to become an engineer. You have to know the call of Abraham. How was Abraham called? and the 12 disciples and a lot of other
rubbish.
By the way, the church controls majority of everything. That, for example, the other day there had been so many cases of teenage pregnancies in young people and in students, school kids. And so an MP, a member of parliament, took a bill to parliament suggesting that we should start teaching sex education in schools.
Duh.
Because, do you know the religious leaders?
They don't teach sex education.
The bill was scrapped, by the way. It never saw the light of the day. So sex education cannot be taught because religious leaders say that it was going to cause moral decay among the
It's always got moral decay. That's the reason why you're trying to enlighten people about sex. See, this is the idiot. This is idiocracy, as they call it. The reason why I wanted schools so I can inform the children what's the consequences of having unprotected early sex through education. So now you got some religious nut.
The religious leaders say that teaching them about sex is normalizing sex. It's like telling them sex is okay.
That's stupid. So now I got some religious nut. I got some religious nut talking moronic stuff because Africans been so indoctrinated with sex is natural. That's why the birds and the bees do it. The animals and the trees do it. It's natural. It's a natural form of life. But you want to make sure that it's practical to the youth to understand these are the consequences if you endeavor in that.
And so I know we're talking about inventions, but before we go to the next invention, that is by Frederick McKinley, who pioneered the refrigerated transportation, as Kid was saying. So let me share a video of what I was talking about. People might think that let me share a video of the bishops that opposed introduction of sex education. They were Kenyan Catholic bishops. They called a meeting and they were very mad. How dare you teach children about sex education?
It's not just Ghana, Sanofi. It's all Africa. They've been brainwashed. And that's why they're in this poverty. It was on loudspeaker. It's everywhere in Black Africa. I told you where you went. It's everywhere in Black Africa. It's the indoctrination, brainwashed. And then they don't know really. And the fact they don't really know shit about the Bible at all. They don't know its origins. It is causing a religious cycle of craziness. Your Bible started. I don't know. Jesus started it. Jesus did it. Did he? Jesus.
So here's the video of the bishops and what they said on the same.
Catholic bishops in Kenya have raised concerns over the introduction of sex education in basic education learning materials. According to the leaders, the content taught in schools, particularly in grade 7, is not acceptable as it exposes minors to the use of contraceptives, leading to high rates of teenage pregnancies and abortion.
Come on, listen to the irony in this, that teaching minors about sex education is exposing them to contraceptives, leading to rise in cases of teenage pregnancies.
What he just said exactly, Demore, is double talk. But this nigga here is made
to say exposure to contraceptives leading to increase in teenage pregnancy.
It would reduce it, Demore. But see, this goofy nigga's got to talk that crazy talk on their national, because he's talking double talk. When he just said it didn't make any sense. Teach them about it would actually lower it and make them responsible. But see, they don't want that. This is crazy. This is what you call brainwashed society.
Contraceptives leading to high rates of teenage pregnancies and abortion. The leaders now want the Ministry of Education recall the inclusion of reproductive health strand in all the grade 7 books across the country with immediate effect.
Introduction of comprehensive sex education defies the narrative sold to Kenyans that the competence-based curriculum is based.
Pause it for a second. And this nigga in this Catholic outfit, these are the people that came to Africa, enslaved African people, told them they're 1/5 of a human being. This nigga's get up here, stolen most of the land in Africa. But that goopy nigga in that goopy outfit won't teach the Africans that is the Catholic Church that said you're supposed to be enslaved and treated less than a human being. But yet you adopted this goopy religion that told you Africans are supposed to be enslaved. That's their own doctrine. The stealing of land throughout Africa. The Catholic Church has stolen more land than even the goddamn regular individual corporations have. Because it's a corporation itself. It's a fraud. Phony. You got some moronic ass
books
bitches
across the country with immediate effect.
Introduction of comprehensive sex education defies the narrative sold to Kenyans that the competence-based curriculum is based on values and any education given would be age appropriate.
We urge that the ministry moves with speed and initiates the removal of substrand 7.2 on reproductive health.
Pause it. This is all European nigga shit. These niggas are all colonized in there. Look at this shit. This is all European. This European bag. Look at this shit. They all got this shit on. This all Europe. This is how colonialism works. This is all European culture right here. This shit, all this shit is European culture. Indoctrination. It wasn't even in Kenya 200 years ago. Not even just 200 years ago, none of this shit was there. This is complete indoctrination of a people. All these niggas are absolute morons. Every last one of them. A boot-licking, dick-sucking, cracker-sucking asshole. This is all European culture. Right to left, top to bottom. This is the colonization of the mind. None of these niggas here, for black people, have a free thought in their head. And they teach an ideology that the white man forced on them. This was forced. Now remember, the Africans in Kenya didn't accept this. Nobody in Africa accepted this religion. It was forced on us. They took the children, separated from the older family when the British came and indoctrinated African kids. And they taught their kids, and they taught their kids, and their kids, and their kids. Just like in Ghana, Nigeria, it's the same shit. This was indoctrination. These people are supposed to be tossed to the wind. What they teach is absolute nonsense and endangers
From
Africans.
all the learning materials and withdrawal of the mentioned books and any other book in the market that contains similar content.
They call for the withdrawal, recall of any book that had anything that was teaching the kids anything on contraception.
They all got the image of a dead white man hanging from their chest with that cross, a dead cracker. They got dead cracker on there like this, all on their chest. Hang on. They got the dead cracker.
I know we went off topic, but that's what we do. We talk each and everything African. So we were talking about
we gotta go off topic. Now we gotta go off topic. That's gotta go. All of them standing with that dead crack on the chest. That cross.
Mm-hmm.
You know how Jesus look on that cross all fucked up. You know how much indoctrinate you are that your God is white in the head. And these people showed up here 2 days ago. The indoctrination that you haven't colonized your mind. That's the chains on your mind. Why you can't invent shit. You got a dead cracker on your chest like this. I'm gonna invent shit. I got a dead white man on my hanging around my neck. You need to be kissing on that thing. Got some dead, the dead, you guys know how you call dead cracker on a stick. They got the dead cracker on the stick religion. Crack around your neck dead. That's my guy. Dead cracker on a stick. Dead cracker. You tell me that dead cracker on the stick is your God? That's right. The dead cracker on the stick. Jesus wept. The dead cracker on the stick. And they should know it's satanic. Right? They're talking about eating the body and drinking the blood. You don't drink the blood of nobody else. I'm drinking your blood. It's satanic, but they don't know that. They've been so indoctrinated with crazy shit. You drink the blood of God. Drinking the blood and eating the body, it's a satanic ritual. They don't know what Christianity started. It's Satanism. The God of the Bible is the devil. They don't even know that. You drinking blood. Let me drink your blood, Jesus. I'm drinking the blood and eating the body. So I'm practicing cannibalism. I'm drinking blood and eating his body. What? Go back and learn some shit in history. That's satanic. Drinking nobody's fucking blood. Are you crazy? Drink his blood. Yeah, everybody, all the churches now doing the white man satanic shit, right? Drink the blood. This is the blood of Jesus. Damn, this double blood. Okay. Eat the body. God, they're satanic as shit. Your common sense would tell you would be like, why am I drinking somebody's fucking blood and eating a body? Well, because the real creator is nothing there. You can't drink nobody's fucking blood and eating bodies. That's why you can't invent shit. You got too much blood up in you. Drinking blood. Shit is absolutely satanic. A lot of youth are asking those questions on TikTok. It's funny. Why am I drinking blood? Exactly, stupid. Exactly. Drinking nobody's fucking blood. That's satanic. It's a ritual. Eating bodies. Go ahead. So the man in Florida eating another space was saying community. That's what they say. They normalize drinking blood, eating body. Just common sense. If you critically think, why the fuck am I drinking some motherfucker's blood?
Let us look at Frederick McKinley Jones, who invented everything to do with refrigeration, everything to do with air conditioning. I'm gonna come and talk about religion on another show. Let us, because my show is almost over. We finish with.
Yeah, I woke up late, guys. I did the show last night late, and I happened to wake up just to talk to more results. I said, "Shit, is he on yet?" I knew I was going.
Your show was around 4 a.m.
Yeah, shit, crazy. 4 a.m. for you. It wasn't 4 a.m. for me. Yeah. About 11 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock. Now it's 4 and 5 a.m. for my ass. But go ahead.
I tried watching it at 4 a.m. and I was like, nah.
Yeah, see, there you go. See, you wonder why I say the same shit on your shit.
It's like, why are you on at 4 a.m., Keith? Can't you wait for 7?
That's my time. That's not your time. If I wait for 7, that's 2 o'clock in the morning my time. Some shit. 12 o'clock at night. Some shit. We go ahead.
But I saw it. It was an amazing show. So about who runs the United States.
Yeah, who runs it?
Yeah, so let us look at Fred McKinley Jones, who, as I said, invented anything to do with air conditioning. He invented refrigerated transportation. That is why it is possible for you to transport perishable goods, for you to transport milk over long distances, for you to transport flowers over long distances. It is all due to Frederick McKinley Jones. He also invented air conditioning unit. That is why it is possible. Most of the inventions, by the way, were because of war, as you heard in the previous video. Even McKinley's air conditioning unit was invented for the World War II, not really for
necessity.
It was invented because of to condition for air conditioning in military units in field hospitals to provide relief from extreme temperatures for patients and other medical staff. So most of the inventions, such as the X-ray, the blood bank, and this one also was because of World War II.
Well, he was one of the most prolific African-American inventors in our nation's history, and he called Minnesota home.
His most famous invention helped create several new industries, from frozen foods to supermarkets to fast food restaurants. In tonight's Voices for Change story, Maury Glover looks at the life and legacy of Frederick McKinley Jones.
He was a genius. He saw a problem and solve it.
When you go to the supermarket, your pick of fresh fruits and vegetables is at your fingertips year-round. But did you know an African-American inventor from Minnesota is responsible for creating the technology that makes that possible?
Flowers in the middle of winter, pineapples, coconuts. It was unheard of until Fred came up with an idea. This is the history of Thermo King in Wilmington, starting with Fred Jones.
And don't got no money. You know, black people fucked up and don't got no money from none of those inventions either. White people stole them. They made billions of dollars. You know that too. They got us as gangsters on TV. Yeah, I'm a gangster and do my goofy rap. Yeah, let me rap my shit. Yeah.
And Joe Numero.
Rick Smith is the company historian for Thermo King, which pioneered the refrigerated transport industry more than 80 years ago.
Fred came up with the first mechanical refrigeration unit that would go on the nose of a trailer.
He says it was an invention by employee Frederick McKinley Jones that put the company on the map.
In the big scheme of things, this gentleman.
Go ahead, kid. So he didn't get none of the money. He working for the white man. White man got the money and the billions of dollars. So the invention goes to the white man's pocket, while the black man and black America is still impoverished.
I wouldn't be surprised if after a few years, Frederick McKinley could not afford to buy groceries that were stored in his own inventions.
You better believe he couldn't. Get out of here, Negro. Get your ass out of here. I invented it.
And it impacts people.
We don't care what you did. Get your ass out of here.
Every day, and you don't even know it.
Jones was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but as a young man, he ended up in Minnesota, maintaining the equipment on a farm owned by the son of railroad magnate James J. Hill. Smith says Jones was a mechanical genius who built an early version of the snowmobile with a car engine and an airplane propeller on the back.
Give it to white people.
He also raced cars, but he often came across bigoted drivers who didn't want to compete against him because of the color of his skin.
He was good at what he did. He knew how to build a car. He knew how to race the car. He did all the mechanics on it and everything.
He built the cars, and they didn't want to race because he was a nigga. Okay, sorry about that. That's just keeping it real. This nigga building.
Jiba Jabba said at one point the Bell Corporation was wealthier than God for 100 years.
Yeah. It was. It was. Bill and General Electric from Thomas Edison.
Lewis Latimer was working for. Was he? Yeah. No, he was not working for the Bell Corporation. He was working.
It wasn't no Bell Corporation yet. He invented Bell. It wasn't no. Yeah, Bell didn't exist yet. But he invented Bell. The phone was him. He invented the corporation. He didn't get no money. Now it's called AT&T. Bell Corporation now, remember, Jim, just now AT&T, which is still one of the biggest companies today in the world. Got cell phones and cell towers and all this. That started for him. We ain't got no money from it. We're still all broke and fucked up.
A big shout out to Sinovia, who's sick and tired of African religious leaders. She's not having it with the bishops and the other.
Again, was unheard of at that period of time. Fred did it all.
After serving in World War I, Jones taught himself electronics and created a device to combine sound with motion pictures for the small theater in town. That caught the attention of Minneapolis entrepreneur Joe Numero, who offered Jones a job to improve the sound equipment made by his company without meeting him. But when Jones showed up at his office, at first Numero thought it was a joke.
He thought, this black man standing in the lobby can't possibly be the genius that he heard about. So he kind of started quizzing him. What do you know about microphones? What do you know about speakers? And Fred just told him everything he wanted to hear until Joe finally said, whoa, you're the real guy.
Years later, Numero was playing golf with a friend who owned a trucking business. And he told Numero he wished someone would come up with a refrigerated trailer. Numero bet him $5 his genius Jones could figure it out.
Joe Numero came back to Fred Jones and said, hey, I need you.
Hey, I bet you my nigga could probably figure that out. We make $8. He didn't say it's I know my friend. And you know, white men said back then, 20s and 30s, I got a nigga that can do it. And we ain't got to pay him shit. We're going to make billions of dollars off this nigga. And that's how they talk over it, whether you like it or not. That's what they say. I got a nigga that can do it, and we ain't got to pay him shit because he's a nigga. We're gonna steal inventions and make billions of dollars. He can do it, or they would say, my boy can do it. Look at this guy. He looked like a coon ass nigga.
This refrigerator unit. And within a couple of weeks, we had a prototype. And within a short period of time after that, we had the first mechanical refrigeration unit. So that's how this industry got started, on a bet on a golf course.
The invention became the basis for Numero's new company, Thermo King, in 1938. And Jones received a patent for his invention a couple of years later. The portable air cooling unit allowed trucks to carry fresh food anywhere across the country without spoiling, ushering in the era of the supermarket. During World War II, the military also used Jones's invention to transport and store blood, medicine, and food for troops on the front lines.
I was eating nectarines the other day. I was like, how can you eat a nectarine in Minnesota when it's 20 below? Well, that invention that he created in 1938 is the reason why I had those nectarines yesterday.
In all, Jones held more than 60 patents for everything portable X-ray machine to an automatic ticket dispenser before he died from lung cancer in 1961. 30 years later, President George Bush Sr. posthumously awarded his widow the National Medal of Technology, making Jones the first African-American to receive the honor.
Being an African-American person, it fills me with joy and pride that he did such a great thing for our society. This is the actual first unit created in 1938.
A refurbished version of Jones's most prominent achievement.
Trying all this damn pride niggas talking about. Did he got pride and fuck all that. We're getting money for that shit. Not damn pride.
Gave him a medal for that.
He did such a great thing for society. We're always doing shit for society and be broke and fucked up. Shit.
Achievement is on display at Thermo King headquarters, and later versions are still being used to transport life-saving vaccines during the pandemic today, further cementing Jones's legacy for future generations as the king of cool.
We talk about all these great things that are happening now, the Googles and the Microsofts. Well, I say, hey, Fred Jones started something very important back in 1938, and we all are benefiting from it today.
For Voices for Change, Maury Glover, Fox 9.
Financially, so what? Where the $1 billion African-American companies at? All these inventions we fucking created. We don't got nothing. We're the poorest of the poor. Because all our shit is always all stolen and make other people rich. So I'm gonna hear all these good luck stories all the goddamn time about inventing shit for people, and Africans all stay at the bottom impoverished.
And my time is almost up. The last inventor that we are gonna look at is Joseph N. Jackson. So Joseph N. Jackson invented something that might look really simple to you. When I tell you this man invented the remote control, you might think it's a really simple thing, but he did not just invent the remote control, but also the technology that is used.
That'd be lasers. It's more than just a remote that you can automatically shoot a laser at something and cause another thing to react. So
yeah, it uses the IR technology. It's called the infrared ray, all the RF, the radio frequency technology. So he's the one that came up with the IR technology that allows it's
Exactly what
infrared
they say. And what they tell you, he was a real. I'm sorry, so like I said, this nigga was a real credit to his race, not like the rest of these dirty niggas. What they say, he was a real credit, like the rest of these filthy Africans. That's what they say. Okay, I'm gonna say filthy African. He was a credit to his race, not like the rest of these filthy Africans. You know he's a credit? Because we made billions of dollars off his ass. That's why. That's why he's a credit to his race. We made billions of dollars off this moronic ass African. That's what they say. Because we don't got none of these companies, all these inventions that were made, we broke as fuck. Go ahead.
So I was talking about Joseph N. Jackson, who came up with the IR, the infrared radio technology. It is the technology that allows you to, for example, lock your car when you're not inside your car, unlock your car while you are in the house. Anything remote controlled uses the IR or the RF technology. So all that was as a result of Joseph N. Jackson.
Have you ever used a remote control for your television set?
No, I have
Or
not.
your Xbox?
Come on.
Have you ever used remote control?
Well, today, in our series on Black Inventors on the Black Excellence and Abundance channel, we will highlight the inventions of Mr. Joseph N. Jackson, the man who invented the wireless remote control. Mr. Jackson was born in Harvey, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana. His parents were Ernest and Octavia Jackson. At the age of 17, he began working as a maintenance helper at an oil field. At 18, he joined the U.S. Army, where he worked as a...
Now, when Demore was showing the flood of Katrina last week, right? Or sometime this week, right? When they were saying they were so black, right? He's from Jefferson Parish, where they were shooting at black people at. The white people trying to kill black people, trying to get away, trying to get the high ground. We trying to get the high ground. In Jefferson Parish, where he's from, and they were shooting black people. Nigga, you better not bring your ass over here. But they all got remote controls in their house and shit turn on the, they all got things that open up their cars that this black man created. They don't give a shit. They told black people, and you can look this up, where he was born at, Jefferson Parish.
They say those people are so black.
Yeah, that was the parish where they tried to escape to go to high ground. At least in Kenya, you can go to high ground without getting shot in the head. The African here was told to go to high ground, New Orleans, and as they tried to go to high ground, they tried to go to his parish, and the white people right there on the bridge with the guns. Y'all remember? Niggas, you better not bring your ass over here. I remember that. You couldn't even go to high ground in America. White people had guns. They would shoot you in the head. It's a black man, Joseph N. Jackson, that created the remote control. Can I come over? Nigga, you better get your ass up. Stay your ass up over there.
You put control to move higher grounds. No passing through here. So that was Joseph N. Jackson. I won't get time to go through the whole video, but he's responsible for the invention of the IR RF technology. And as Jabba says, we had no invention to do with light.
It didn't make no difference what he invented. We weren't allowed to come into that parish when the flood happened. They told they're gonna shoot us in the face. Joseph N. Jackson created the remote control that you use, tracker. Can I come over? No, hell no.
Jabba is saying he has never used a black and white. Have you ever used a remote control?
Please, have you ever used remote control? Have you ever used one? Can we come over, please? But we already told you. No. About your goofy invention.
As we come to the end of the show, we have been looking at black inventors.
They don't teach in none of these schools about black inventors ever, right? So the funny thing about it, no matter how much stuff we talking about, oh, we've helped society and moved the culture forward, you're still treated like a nigga in the street when they shoot you in the face. You know, police will say, hey, nigga, you create a lot of inventions. They pull you out the car, say, nigga, where you went 2 miles over the speed limit. Boom. Oh, shit. You don't get no respect. You don't know damn invention.
And I'm sure somebody like Garrett Morgan, who Sinovia bigged up and said is one of the greatest inventors, who invented the traffic light. I'm sure he was caught on a red light and he was trying to tell them, I invented that light. And they were like, nah.
If I'm out there getting beat upside the head with them, yeah, you've been so wet, nigga. Get this work. Get this work. Get this work.
Yeah.
Get it.
Let us.
You've been like, now we're gonna beat you black and blue and red. Yeah, we light your ass up, nigga.
Imagine telling Garrett Morgan that he ran a red light that he invented.
We don't care about no inventions. You don't care about none of your inventions. How you push, black people, we made society. We push the society forward and we give love to humanity. They say that while they beating your ass, they don't say, hey, this nigga's helped humanity. No, they say beat his ass.
Let us look at some of those. Let us now look at, in summary, at some of the inventors that we've talked about. We have Garrett Morgan. He has to be the first one. He invented the 3-position traffic light signal that, as you know, made.
Did he invent the toilet too? I think he invented the toilet too, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody black invented the toilet where you can relieve your doo doo.
The other African lady was Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone invented the ironing board.
You pulling me over? I invented the toilet. Why are you pulling me over? Because we're gonna make you shit on yourself.
Come on, kid.
Shit on myself.
And Sinovia tells me Garrett Morgan also invented the gas masks.
Yes, gas mask. He invented the gas mask or something else. And you also got like the guy McCoy who invented the train.
Automatic lubrication system for
all that train. It's thousands of them.
That was McCoy.
Every time they get pulled over by the police, I'm Charles Drew. I invented the blood plasma. Yeah, when we beat your ass, you're gonna need some blood.
Yeah. We also had Mary Brown. Mary Brown invented the home security system. I'm just going through some of the inventors who we do not have time to go through deeply. The other one was Frederick McKinley.
You seen the Sisters invention, all them people, the body cam, the cameras while they been beating your ass. You see them beating ass. They go to security cam, they're beating a black man. We invented the camera so you can beat our ass on camera. It goes with every invention, Demore. No matter what you invent, it works with you getting your ass beat.
The other one was the one that you're talking about, John Standard. John Standard invented the refrigerator. That was in 1891, by the way. We also have Thomas Martin. He invented the fire extinguisher. Were it not for him, you'd not have the fire extinguisher. John Martin also invented something very interesting. He invented the casket.
You use another black man's invention to push the when they light you on fire, you use another black man's invention to, take the fire off you. They beat my ass, they light me on fire. Use the fire extinguisher on this nigga. Thank you. Shit. God damn it. Woo. All inventions coincide with you getting your ass beat.
The other notable mention is Dr. Charles Drew with the blood bank, Marian Kroc with the voice over internet protocol, Mark Dean with the portable fax machine, Frederick McKinley with the air conditioning unit. We just looked at him. We had Frederick Jones with the thermostat control. The thermostat control is the one that is responsible for, in those refrigerated trucks, the one that you can control the temperatures and optimize temperatures, especially for perishable goods. We had Charles Drew again with the portable X-ray machines. We had the lawn sprinkler that with Joseph A. Smith. We had automatic fishing devices with George Grant. We had fiber optic with the Ghanaian Dr. Thomas Mensah. We had the carbonless copy paper with Dr. Shirley Jackson. We had space travel simulation technology with Dr. Mae Jemison. We had solar energy devices with Dr. Calvin Fuller. We had the gas burner with Sarah Boone. So those are the ones that I could mention. As Jiba Jaba is saying, this could be a 20-part series because literally almost everything was invented, if not stolen, from a black person.
That's right. And with that, you get his ass beaten.
So HR the Messenger is coming up in a bit. I hope you. I'll be here on Monday again with the Black Hotfire News update. Of course, giving you the theatrics on what has been happening throughout the weekend.
Put the mark,
all over.
And put the mark on the invention, and then go to and tell us about the damn reverends and preachers going to get. They almost take education. The mark's going to be on the road getting his ass beaten in Kenya. I'm just giving information.
So that was all I had for the show today. This has been the Diary of a Young Black King. Comes to you every Saturday from 12:30 p.m. I don't know what time that is there, but it's 12:30 p.m. in Kenya.
4 o'clock in the goddamn morning. 4 o'clock in the goddamn morning. That's what time it is.
Yeah, 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your weekend. It's always a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up,
a big shout out to Samuel. A big shout out to Jiba Jaba. A big shout out to Sinovia. A big shout out to Derek Askew. A big shout out to General Mosquito. A big shout out to Jason Hill. A big shout out to everybody else who was with me in the comments. I had quite a number of comments.
Told you, but they carjack. They get in your whole car, which is crazy. They get in your car, your window, and take your car to the damn police station. Crazy as hell.
Enjoy the rest of your day. It's always a pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of here.